Hi.
Joe?
Yes.
How are you?
Lovely to meet you.
And you? You, Claire?
Claire, hi.
How are
Nice to
you?
meet you.
So are you living on site at the moment in any of these buildings?
Yes, we are just in the box here.
But even that looks unfinished. There's a builder on the roof of that.
It's finished inside.
But you're also building something else?
Yep, which is just over here.
OK, I'll follow you then. Amazing views, like 180 degrees or something. It's magnificent.
Absolutely.
And where does it sit on the site?
Pretty much the full length.
What?
It is quite wide, yes.
Wow! Planning is usually complex for an exposed elevated site like this. But then the plans for this home are the epitome of ambition. A random smattering of deep concrete pad foundations will support an equally random timber frame. 282 glulam timbers will be bolted together with industrial-scale steel brackets to form a mind-boggling wooden skeleton, stretching more than 7 meters into the sky. To make the walls, the skeleton will support 34 sculptural insulated timber structures, shards, although depending on how windy it gets during construction, they might live up to their name and fracture the building apart. If they stay in place, the shards are then clad by hand with 1,350 square meters of zinc. That's enough to cover a lot of tennis courts. Into the huge remaining apertures, they'll then insert 46 high-performing glazing units that'll appear to float in the openings. It'll look like Superman's crystal fortress. Solar panels will power a fully automated interior filled with the latest gadgets, from face recognition devices on the outside doors to intelligent lighting and heating systems. This house will be over 70 meters long, with a gym at one end, an opulent kitchen and an angular living area, all with sweeping views. There is a central spine corridor to organize the crazy shapes and lead you past a cinema room and study to the 4 bedrooms, each with a bathroom. Outside, a large garage will also echo the shape of the main house. I really do wonder if this amazing design represents more art than architecture, more epic statement than cosy home, more money than sense. The concrete pad foundations are poured and work begins on the garage, a trial for the main house. Joe has delegated all the stress and responsibility of this project to Phil Saunders, his project manager. By the new year, the frame for Joe's oversized garage is complete.
12 weeks it took to construct the garage, timber frame-wise. Every one of these timber joists was cut individually. The steel bracket in the middle is all one bracket, made as one. It's definitely a one-off. We've just got to build the house now.
"12 months later than planned, and the factory-cut timbers have arrived for the first of 4 phases.
There's not a lot of room for error here. It's we need to get things spot on.
But as the first engineered piece of wood is craned in,
It won't fit.
nothing is lining up.
It's half a hole that side, isn't it? They're right there.
Damp has swollen the timbers, so what once slotted together in the factory now doesn't fit.
Struggling here.
It's an ominous start for an approach that was supposed to simplify construction.
I would have hoped to have not it been like this first piece. That's the thing of having all this pre-drilled in the factory. It's stressful. Every part of this project as we go forward is going to be difficult. Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Right, what would everyone like for breakfast?
But it's a nightmare that Joe and Claire seem blissfully unaware of.
I hear it didn't go that well yesterday. I think he said their tolerances were too close or something, but it's always fine.
I think Joe has other concerns.
Right, I've got to go.
Joe, he does seem a brilliant delegator, I can say that for him. But of course, if this thing doesn't work out, if it fails, it'll only be one person's fault. That's his.
No, it's always fine.
Always fine, isn't it, Ev?
Yeah.
4 years ago, these time-worn tours on Dartmoor served as the starting point for Joe and Claire's plans for a sculptural and lavish family home. A project so ambitious, there was every chance it would never get finished. It's like visiting a museum, a gallery. Tate Exeter. These crisp-clad shards now rise up from this hillside like titans on the march. They have overcome uncertainty. Now they triumphantly announce that something phenomenal is happening here. It's not on the scale of a house. It's so big, and I feel so small. Geometric megaliths wrestling with glass to draw you ever forwards into the belly of the beast. Wow. Even the front door is vast. It's 6 feet wide, 10 feet tall. This is certainly one industrial-sized sculpture, but not much here says home. The aggressive exterior completely submits to the more tranquil interior. Oh wow, it absolutely blows me away, this. I see what you mean, Claire. It is not like the outside, is it? Everywhere you look, there's some beauty. I mean, just to die for. Wow, well done. I look at that view and my blood pressure just subsides.
Yeah. Relax.
I mean, that window over there, I don't quite know how they done it. I don't think I've ever seen a piece of glass that big,
No.
ever.
There was the one really, really difficult part of this building. Everything was difficult, but what was almost the breaking point was the glazing. It's very, very difficult to do. There was a change of contractor midway through, which you never want to do, but the guys that picked it up, tweak here, tweak there, and yeah, pulled it out of the bag. They really, really did.
This is frameless glazing, which means that you've got no openers.
No.
So no heavy frames.
No.
How do you ventilate the building? I mean, if it gets a bit hot.
Because we're on stilts, sucks the cold air from underneath the house, circulates it.
That's so neat. Of course, nearly every element of this affluent home, from the hidden shutters to the specially made light fittings, can be controlled with the touch of a button. I mean, look at it. I mean, look at that down there, that hallway, right? Yeah. There's a sort of, there is a science fiction quality to the whole building.
Yeah, that corridor that's a big favourite, actually.
These spaces don't just look like they're from a futuristic blockbuster. In the kitchen, you can actually feel tomorrow. What is this material, Claire?
Decton.
What?
Decton.
What? And this is oak. I don't know what any of these materials are. It is like being in an alien world. This is a kitchen which has come from another universe. This I recognise as a sink. That is a tap. Yeah. What is that?
Hob.
And then we've got our extractor fan.
A death ray extractor.
That's it.
Right. It's obviously expensive to do all this kind of thing. So, I mean, how much does your kitchen cost?
Total, I think it's about 125 grand.
What? 125,000. Originally, your budget was 825,000. That was like a fifth of your entire budget.
Yeah.
Is £125,000 on a kitchen, Claire, justifiable?
I mean, it looks amazing, but it is an expensive kitchen, but you can't buy this from the high street. It has to be a bespoke kitchen. It's a focal point of our house.
Yeah, that is a phenomenal amount of money to spend on a kitchen, isn't it? Phenomenal. But it is then, of course, annoyingly, a phenomenal kitchen. The scale of this project has grown since its inception. The original $835,000 budget has been forgotten, eclipsed by ambition and the drive to discover what is possible. Behind the kitchen is a stylish gym and games room, and the technology hub, the beating heart of an alien fortress. But the tone of this interior changes once you reach the long spine corridor. It's amazing, this lighting. This is LED lighting, buried in the wall, but also in the floor. It looks as though there's a window with where lighting is sort of sunshine is just glancing across the floor. Another piece of sci-fi set design. A study, a utility room, and 4 modest bedrooms, each with their own bathroom, are dotted along this corridor. Low ceilings make it much more intimate here. but every view is a reminder of the giant zinc monster's embrace. You started out with a budget idea of 835. So how much did you spend?
About 2.5 million?
Considering what you've got, I think that's pretty good. Did you have to sell a car?
No.
You can afford it and you found the money, that's great. But along the way, it just does strike me that this stopped being just like another project.
Yeah.
The decision to spend money on a beautiful kitchen, on the bespoke lighting, was not a developer decision. This was personal.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Good, I'm glad I finally got you to say that. Do you ever imagine that you would ever live in a house like this?
No, I could never in my wildest dreams have thought that I'd live in such an amazing house.